Good evening. This is Rudy Giuliani, and this is America's Mayor live from New York at Christmas time, which is always very, very special, although very bad news for New York today. And it's been just one after another, and that is America has a leading city and state that people are fleeing, and that happens to be New York. That is one of the worst things that you can encounter as a leader, as a mayor. It's the thing that I had to combat when I became mayor. We had lost a massive population. We hadn't had population gain in some time, and turn it around, God. Uh, but right now, I don't see the policies, the programs, the spirit, and the kinds of things that have to be done to turn that around. So, um, very hard for me because for me, the relationship with New York is, I hate to say it this way because you might not understand it, but it's quite emotional. I mean, I love New York. Uh, I consider it the greatest city in the world. Consider it maybe the greatest city the world has ever produced. Uh, a lot of it has to do with immigration, and it's being ruined by illegal immigration because we did it the right way, and now we're doing it the wrong way, the illegal way. Uh, Unfortunately, the last two mayors have contributed tremendously to the dissolution of New York. New York is not falling apart because there's something in the air in New York that's creating the problem. I used to say this when I ran for mayor. We didn't have a lot of crime and unbelievable amount of unemployment and people on welfare for the second and third generation and all kinds of problems in our schools because there was something, there was a virus going around. It is very clear what the problem is. The problem are the policies and the programs of the Democrat Party. It was the problem then, and now it's the problem on steroids now because the party has become a very, very left-wing party that clearly is socialist and in some degrees communist because it has an authoritarian overlay to it, particularly in the White House and in the state houses. You keep losing population like this, and Miami will be the financial center of America, not New York. To change it, you'd have to elect a Republican mayor with Republican programs. Every time we've done that, elect a real Republican, the city has had a major change. When I was mayor, there are changes that I made that are unrivaled. You can't find anyone else who's done anything like that. I say that humbly, but no one reduced crime anywhere near the amount that I did anywhere in any city in the United States. There's not even a close competitor. No one reduced and turned, not only reduced welfare by 500, 600,000, but found jobs for the vast majority of people on a workfare program that the federal government really borrowed from us. These are things that can be done but we need different policies, different programs, different political leadership. And then one very, very big thing, we got to cut out the corruption. We have to do in New York what has to be done in Ukraine. The problem with giving money to Ukraine that is avoided and not confronted and makes it very, very dangerous because you're not helping the people of Ukraine when the money is diverted to the oligarchs and the others. I'm not saying that it has an impact on their inability to win the war because I don't know enough about how much has been diverted. I do know that there are legitimate fears that a lot of it was diverted because there's been no accounting. I would be the happiest person in the world if there was no diversion. I love the Ukrainian people, and I hate the Ukrainian crooks. And I do not have confidence in the current president of Ukraine at all. He is a product of one of the crookedest men in Ukraine, the biggest money launderer. He brought him back from exile. And that man made him a multimillionaire. And he's sitting on covering up vast, vast criminality at the highest levels of his government and our government, including sitting on information about corruption by his prior president, by our president, and who knows how many others. But he knows it all, and he's hiding it. And when he asked Joe Biden for money, Joe Biden is completely compromised. I mean, of course, he's not the only one that can compromise Joe Biden. Joe Biden is like, it's kind of insulting to prostitutes to say he's like an old prostitute, because what they do is far different than what he did, which is sell out a country. But in any event, New York needs a major turnaround quickly, or the inevitable will just happen. Everyone is consumed with Colorado, and they should be. Yesterday, if it was yesterday, I don't remember now if it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday when the decision was made.
Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. On Tuesday, okay. So on Tuesday.
Meshing together for us, Mayor.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. It was such a bad day for America, a bad day for the rule of law, one of the worst. The decision is utterly unsupportable by law or logic, by accepted statutory and constitutional rules of construction, or by Greek logic. Just a few points to be reminded of that make it almost an easy case to decide. The 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution does not apply to a president. The word president, the position of president, doesn't appear in the document. It talks about people who can be barred from office for insurrection. It does not mention the president of the United States or the vice president. It mentions senators, representatives, electors of presidents and vice presidents, and those who hold any office. You would not include in a catch-all a president in hold any office. Second, it doesn't have an enforcement mechanism, and the legislature, or I'm sorry, the courts in Colorado have no power to create one, because that power has been given to the Congress. You don't imply or powers, and the Constitution doesn't infer. It has to be stated. Powers have to be specifically granted, and those powers not granted don't really exist. They are retained by the people. But there's no ambiguity here. Section 5 tells you who gets to enforce this. It's the Congress. As far as I can tell, those 4 extremely left-wing judges who wrote probably one of the most intellectually dishonest opinions in American legal history, and dangerous ones, are not the Congress. It says here, I'll read Section 5. I didn't write it. The people who passed the 14th Amendment wrote it. The Congress shall have the power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article. So you want to enforce the provisions of this article, you have to go and look for the legislation that Congress provided. It hasn't provided any, so there is no way to enforce it. And in any event, finally, you have to show that the person engaged in an insurrection and the president, former president, is not charged with that. There's been no proof that he has. He hasn't been convicted of that. No one else has. 1,000 people were investigated, hundreds of charges, multi-millions of dollars spent, not a single insurrection charge. So, this opinion isn't worth the paper it's written on. I commend the 3 Democrat judges who dissented, and have the courage to do that. As Jonathan Turley said in his article in the Post, what these 4 justices did was a direct assault on our democratic process in seeking to bar the most popular candidate in the upcoming election. Of course, this is exactly what the 4 Democratic prosecutors are doing also. So we have 4 Democratic prosecutors that have stacked up one after another 4 trials for next year on things that have never been charged before. That's kind of a giveaway that these are all political, just like this is a giveaway when the president's not mentioned, but you're going to put him in. This law has been used 8 times, never against the president. 5 of those times were former Confederates. One that's rather instructive was it was used against a socialist representative named Victor Berger of Wisconsin, and he was denied a House seat after his conviction under the Espionage Act of 1919 for opposing U.S. involvement in World War I. Notice he was denied his seat after conviction under the Espionage Act, which they interpreted to fit into the category of insurrection. But there was a conviction. There hasn't even been a charge here. However, when his conviction was overturned by the Supreme Court in 1921, he was elected to Congress and accepted 3 more times. That tells you that in the way this has been used in the past, the necessity for a conviction is critical. And it's never been used against the president because it doesn't mention the president. So the only legal, the only authoritative opinion to the contrary, aside from these judges who are off the wall, is Bozo Biden, who I think cheated his way through law school, plagiarized his way through law school, lied about being at the top of his class when he was like 3rd from the bottom, lies about everything. He has an opinion on this. Shall we read that brilliant lawyer's opinion? But he certainly supported an insurrection. No question about it. None, 0. And he seems to be doubling down on about everything. When did he support an insurrection, Joe? When he said that people should go to the Capitol peacefully and patriotically? Do you even know what an insurrection is? Can you spell it? I understand you had trouble spelling, which is why you were left back in the 3rd grade. So it has led to the suggestion that Republicans should do the same thing. I'll give you a perfect example, and then we can then move on to that subject. Joe Biden is encouraging, aiding and abetting, making possible, singularly making possible an invasion of the United States by people that in many cases, we don't know who they are. where they come from. We are quite certain that any number of them have very, very bad intentions. The head of the FBI tells us that he's never seen as many cases of suspected terrorists. He doesn't have the honesty, integrity, or courage to explain why. And the reason is that Joe opened all the doors, and anybody can come in that wants to come in. If you're a terrorist, you wouldn't be much of a terrorist if you didn't take advantage of it. So Joe Biden is allowing terrorists to come in. We don't know how many. We don't know when or where, but we know there are a lot of them. We know he's allowing many, many drug dealers to come in because he is setting disgusting records for death by fentanyl. He's aiding his friend China in that regard because China makes a fortune on that. So, I mean, this is leaving the door open so that China can get as much fentanyl in here as possible. It's making China very, very rich. It's also allowing China to kill us without being at war, without our being able to kill them in return. And they're not expending any money on this war. They're making money on it. They're making money off the destruction of America's population. 75,000 last year, easily going to be more this year. So I don't see why. I mean, I think the Lieutenant Governor of Texas, Dan Patrick, raised this a couple of days ago, but I don't see why Texas doesn't just take them off the ballot. It's an insurrection that he's allowing. It's much more solid case than the one against Trump, if it applies to a president. The evidence that he is involved in the invasion is overwhelming. In fact, but for him, there'd be no invasion because any other president would close the door. And he deliberately opened it. When he came in, there were 410,000 people that we apprehended at the border. Last year, there were 3.2 million. That's a different world, isn't it? 3.2 million people. And honestly, we know very little about them because we don't do much vetting. And second, there are gotaways that amount to almost the same amount, and we don't know a damn thing about them. We do know that many of them are dangerous because they're directed here by the cartels, by the Mexican cartels who work in conjunction with our enemy, China, to do as much harm to us as possible. They've done things like made us the fentanyl capital, killed enormous numbers of Americans that way. We are the worst country and have the most extensive child sex trafficking in the world. In the world. That only happens because there's no enforcement at the border. And then when people bring up the whole question of sex trafficking, they're attacked by a Hollywood that seems enormously defensive about pedophiles and about sexual deviants.
Well, Mayor, let's see how many Hollywood people are on that Jeffrey Epstein list when they release it.
And why is it taking so damn long to get that list?
That's a good question.
The list is there. It's been there. How long since he was killed?
2 years already, has it been? Since Jeffrey Epstein was killed? 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, that might have been 2020, 21.
Barr was the attorney general.
2020
when it happened.
Trump was president, right?
Trump was president. Barr was the attorney general.
Wasn't it right after a CPAC? Let's see.
Well, I don't
or
know
was it in
what-
August?
So he's, even though he's dead, he's still in the golden circle.
Who?
Jeffrey Epstein died on August 10th, 2019.
2019.
Yes.
He
That's over
That's
4
4
years
years.
ago. That's
He
over
hung-
4
he hung
years
himself
ago.
on the ground.
Right.
He got suicided.
He hung himself. The guards were sleeping, and the camera broke at the same time.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Worst night ever.
Crazy.
The worst night
Crazy.
after
I mean,
the
if
worst
I-
night ever for the guy.
Yeah.
I know that prison really well. And it's a long time ago that I was in and out of it, but I was in and out of it a lot. And I even started to get built. I don't believe, and this is I really would like to go back and look at the room, but they're not going to let me in. Oh, unless they put me in there. I mean, Biden would like to put me in there. They're trying hard to do that. See if look how hard they're trying to frame Trump. They're trying to frame me. Really, they went through a gigantic investigation, searched my house, searched my law office, went and took my iCloud account for 3 years from the day that I started representing Trump. Nobody even cares about these terrible violations of your rights. It's terrible. I mean, just a few years ago, the left wing would have gone crazy if they had gone and taken my accounts, my iCloud accounts and it just happened to coincide with when I began representing Donald Trump, and they ended it just about when the representation ended, and it's clearly to spy on Donald Trump. And then they had to write a letter to the court, to the grand jury, saying that as a result of these 3 search warrants that they executed on me, violated my rights as a private citizen, violated my rights as a lawyer, violated his right of attorney-client privilege, and violated the rights of a lot of people that were completely out of it, but were clients of mine. After all that, they wrote a letter to the grand jury saying there was no probable cause that I committed a crime. Since you have to have probable cause to get a warrant, what happened to it? Did the probable cause disappear from the time they got the warrant and surreptitiously and secretly took my iCloud account? Did it disappear in the year and a half between the time they raided my apartment and law office and when they had to write to the grand jury and say there was no probable cause that I committed a crime? What happened? What happened to the probable cause? They won't tell me. They won't give me the document. Now I'm going to get one because the New York Times wanted it. New York Times can get it. I can't. So I agreed with the New York Times, which will give you a sense. Look, I'm going to tell you a little secret. I don't commit crimes, and I don't lie. That's why I'm in trouble. Because I wouldn't get on they want me to lie. And you know they want me to lie.
Well, they certainly don't want you to tell the truth.
Well, I mean, the truth is that Trump didn't commit any crimes.
Right. That's what they.
And they want me to lie, just the way they tortured Manafort to try to get him to lie.
Right.
And that's what they're trying to do to me. So I think the Colorado case. I hope and pray that the court has the courage to kick that out of the ballpark and get that idea out. Because if they don't, then I think if they affirm that in any way, man, that could be applied to Biden pretty damn easily. Since there was no charge or conviction of Trump, just evidence that the court decided, hearsay evidence in the newspapers from the biased J6 committee. So there are plenty of newspaper articles about Biden and plenty of reports I can give him about how he is leading an invasion of the United States. People of Texas would sure love it. The people of Arizona would love it. I'm looking at these 4 judges and I'm wondering, I used to get impressed when people went to Yale, University of Pennsylvania. Maybe they weren't taught anything. Maybe they weren't taught how to construe statutes. Maybe nobody taught them that if the word president isn't in the statute, you can't put it there. Maybe nobody taught them when it says that the Congress has to provide an enforcement mechanism, and it doesn't. You can't make one up. Are we really having problems with this case? Because if we are, we're in a very, very sad, sad place. So now we are going to take a short break, and we will be right back.
Device is something that you can plug into your television, and now you can use your television as a social television type experience. So in the Portal universe, you can watch your favorite content creators videos, live streams, music. We also have TV subscriptions as well.
TV
so
subscriptions.
You can also
regular channels, all the sports.
Right, you can actually cut your cable from your cable subscription and get QUX TV on our QX TV boxes, and you can pay half the price that you're currently paying for your cable television subscription, and you can get all the best premium TV channels and more. I mean, it's really, there's so much on there, Rudy. I mean, you've seen it.
No, I've seen it and I use it, and it's good. I mean, it's just exactly the same except for half the price. Plus, nobody is finding out what I'm watching, and that's not being reported to anybody.
Right, so you have absolute privacy using this device, which you don't have on other devices out there currently on the market.
This is absolutely great. QUX.TV is how you can find out about it. QUX.TV.
Use promo code RUDY to receive $30 off.
$30. They just took $30 off. Did you see that? Well, this is for me from the heart. And maybe this will be the most important thing I do tonight. This holiday season, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is delivering on its commitment to do good and never forget the sacrifices of those who are our greatest heroes during this annual season of hope. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, the foundation is delivering mortgage-free homes to dozens of Americans catastrophically injured, veterans, first responders, Gold Star, and fallen first responder families. One hero, as an example, received a home during the foundation season of hope. He is Captain James Howard. Captain Howard served for years, mostly in the 82nd Airborne and training for Special Forces. But he sustained many, many serious injuries, not just one, but many, that created a terrible situation. He's a C5 quadriplegic who lost his hands and leg function, and he's paralyzed from the chest down. Tunnel to Towers gave Captain James Howard and his family a fully adapted, mortgage-free smart home to ease his financial burdens and to give him the maximum amount of independence, which he rightfully deserves and earned. And we owe him that. Get involved. Get involved. Help and honor America's heroes this holiday season. Donate $11 to T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, the number 2, T.org. T2T.org, $11. It'll be a Christmas present to you and to America. What better Christmas present can there be than that? So the White House wants to make sure that Israel doesn't win the war against Hamas. And it almost seems, and I don't understand this, like they don't want Ukraine to win the war against Russia. And now I am perplexed, but I think I can come up with a couple of theories. So there are discussions again of another 7-day cessation in fighting in Israel, so that they can exchange prisoners. 10 Israelis for 5,000 Hamas killers, something like that. I love Israel, and I admire immensely Bibi. I understand completely the emotion of these trades that they make. I also understand the horrible damage it does and how it expands exponentially the number of people that get killed. The theory, don't negotiate with a terrorist, exists because when you do, you get a lot more kidnappings. And there's a second way in which this reverberates in the loss of lives. The disproportionate exchanges mean that you get one Israeli for 1,200 Hamas people. Those 1,200 Hamas people killed 1,200 people. So you're saving one life and you're killing 1,200 of your own people. And even though that's not one for one demonstrable, it doesn't take much of a genius to figure that out. So, but I guess we're headed for that again. And the little weasels in the White House are pushing really, really hard for it. Weasel Sullivan, Weasel Blinken, and the Weasel in Chief. I don't know how anyone thinks that he's on the side of Israel. From day one, he started off trying to give $5 billion to a country that lives only for the purpose of destroying Jewish people. If you're Jewish, how do you tolerate that? Okay, I'm not Jewish. I can't tolerate it because I love the Jewish people. And even if I didn't love the Jewish people, if it were the people that in China wants to destroy, including the Falun Gong, I couldn't tolerate it. And in the case of Iran, it's a one-to-one connection. You give them money, and they give money to Hezbollah. You give them money, they give money to Hamas, and Hamas kills Jews. Did you kill Jews by doing that? What would you say, guys? So, let's take it as a given that 50% or more of the money that comes into the reign of terror, the regime of terror, goes to terrorist groups. At a time like this, big time, Hamas and Hezbollah need a lot. So if I give them money, aren't I supporting terrorism? If 100%. They turn around and give 50%, right?
Yeah.
What am I missing? Tell me I'm missing something.
Well, Mayor, don't forget Obama flew cash on a plane to Iran.
Oh, but that's out of bounds.
Yeah.
It's like putting it in your face. Oh, gee, Barack, I tell you, think it could slip us about 170 million in cash? I can't imagine a president of the United States doing business in cash.
On a U.S. tax-funded plane.
It's stolen from his own people, the people of his own country. Thank you, President. Good thing we have you.
Now, he gave them a fortune in his last year in office. A lot more than that. It was in the multiple billions. So that money, some of the arms and other things that have been used against Israel to kill the Israelis. Oh, and by the way, Soleimani had a couple of years of using that money and killing our boys and girls, killing our Americans. How does Obama live with himself?
He lives just fine on his waterfront property in Hawaii, Mayor.
And why is he exempted from any of this? Biden is exempted from prosecution and investigation, but at least you can bring these things out. Of course, they try to put you in prison. They put you in bankruptcy for doing it. But at least you can do it. Well, I think I can do it. This judge is now considering a gag order, so I can't tell you what I know. I thought we lived in America. What do you think? You think she's gonna put a thing around me, guys? What do you think? How's she gonna
a muzzle? Like a dog?
Or maybe she'll have a little. I know what she wants to have a little button, and if I say Georgia, she goes, "Shh, you can't find out how the election was stolen in Georgia. Giuliani can't tell you." Shh,
put a shock collar on you.
Shh. So on the same day, or roughly the same day, that the Colorado court decided to make up the fact that the president was included in the 14th Amendment, sections 3 and 5, when it doesn't say president, or that there's a procedure for excluding a candidate, even though Congress hasn't provided one, and the power to provide one was given only to Congress. Even though those 4 dishonest, dishonorable judges came to that opinion. That was also the same day that the judge who presided over the travesty that I lived through last week decided to become a lawyer now for my opponents by giving them legal advice. And the legal advice was to forget the normal 30-day period for perfecting a judgment and try to get all my assets as quickly as possible. Now, why the hell would a judge? I've never heard of a judge advising parties on their legal strategy, unless the judge is so hopelessly biased she can't help revealing herself. And this person is hopelessly biased. If this case isn't reversed, I don't know of any case I mean, I wasn't allowed to defend myself, even on damages. I wasn't allowed to take evidence that I have, that you have all seen, that certainly justifies what I said and did, and show it to the jury, even if it just is for the purposes of there being no award of money or a modest award of money. Meanwhile, the amount bears no relationship to anything in the case. It's an irrational amount of money. The amount, 148 million, is so irrational, it tells you the trial was irrational, because the result is the result of a completely unfair trial, because it's an unfair result, which means the whole damn thing should be reversed, shouldn't it? In fact, the case should be thrown out as a violation of my First Amendment rights to have an opinion about them. But I also, had to live through being coerced into not testifying by being told that she had decided on this is like the Biden administration of 1984. They decide what the truth is. And therefore you have to say what they decided the truth is, or you go to jail for, I don't know what, perjury, I guess. I don't know what you go to jail for, but she basically said, that I better be very careful testifying because she would hold me in contempt to discourage me. So wasn't allowed to put in tapes, wasn't allowed to basically call witnesses, wasn't really allowed to testify except with the hammer over my head that I'd be spending time in the slammer, which I didn't particularly want to do, particularly in a useless cause. I'm not unaware of the fact that they picked DC so they could have an unfair trial. These things happened in Georgia. They went to DC because they would have a really good chance of getting a completely biased judge, and they got one. And they would have a very good chance in a place that's 99% Democrat of getting people with pretty advanced cases of Trump derangement syndrome. And given the number they came up with, they sure got it. And then she tells them, you go ahead and come on, hurry up. Go tie up his money, which is the reason that I had to go into bankruptcy. I mean, I don't have $148 million. Not many people do. If it weren't for that ridiculous verdict, I would not be in bankruptcy. I wouldn't be allowed to go into bankruptcy. My liabilities do not exceed my assets by a lot. You put that verdict in, however, and it does. So thank you for forcing me into bankruptcy because I'm standing by what I believe. And that's the reason you're doing it, and don't lie. Oh, yes, but you'll lie anyway.
I'm happy if it jams them up.
Well, I don't know if it's going to jam. Nothing jams them up because they're in control of the system. They run the courts. We don't have fair courts any longer. If there's anyone in this country that doesn't think we have a two-tiered system of justice, they really do need remedial education or help or psychiatric help or and forget me, take me out. Just compare Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, and Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to be tried 4 times next year for things that nobody else has ever been tried for. Joe Biden, the evidence against Joe Biden is overwhelming, that he committed some of the most serious crimes in the history of this country, that he sold us out to China, that he's compromised with Ukraine, that his son and brother were bagmen for him. His son described it as a 30-year program where he paid for all the expenses of the family and gave half of his salary to his father. His son tells you that. We brought that out years ago. They remain unmolested. Biden will go run for president next year with no trials against him, so he can stay in his basement and look at his tiddlywinks.
Flooding us with illegals.
You know, and if we get rid of him, we get Vice President Pamela Harris, who the other day, see, I know what's wrong with him. A lot of things. He's stupid. He's demented. He has dementia. He's crooked. He lies. He lies so much he doesn't even know when he's lying. And he's evil. You wouldn't do what you're doing with China. You wouldn't do what you're doing with China and Ukraine and your granddaughter if you weren't evil. So I know that. Harris gets me a little confused. So do we have this thing that we can examine like doctors and we can maybe come up with a diagnosis?
We'll play the clip, Mayor.
And this is Vice President Harris explaining something, but you're going to have to help me figure out what she says.
You know, every election cycle we talk about this is the most election of our life. Lawrence, this one is. We are literally talking about people who are attempting to divide our country in the most crude, frankly, and profound way. We are talking about those who are intent and purposeful to attack fundamental freedoms, be it the freedom to make a decision about your own body, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride, the freedom to be free from fear of violence and hate, the freedom to just be,
Stoking fear.
We
What does that
need
even
the
mean?
freedom to be free. What was the beginning? Do the very beginning again. That election.
You know, every election cycle we talk about this is the most election of our life. Lawrence, this one is. We are literally.
Yeah, the one that's still the best though was the first one when they got her and Ukraine is a small country. Russia is a big country. Russia, the big country, wants Ukraine, the small country. Meanwhile, the kids are looking at her going, then, and they all wake up. Okay, what's wrong with her? What is it? She talks like a baby. Is there such a thing as you talk like a baby? Is that a disease, babyitis or something?
Yeah.
We figured out that Joe has a fetish for hair, and that has a name, which I've forgotten, but it has a name.
Yeah, what's the hair sniffers against?
Oh yeah,
It has a very, very impressive name, like a Greek kind of name. Very impressive name. And it really is, every time I see him do that, I say to myself, what a weirdo.
Oh. Trichophilia.
Trichophilia.
Sounds good, huh?
It might be trishophilia or trichophilia. Just
Oh,
I think it's
weird.
a trick.
Trichophilia.
you think people like when they go to the White House and they have like young girls, they just don't bring them with them anymore? I wouldn't.
I believe.
I wouldn't let him. I wouldn't let him within miles of my Grace, my little baby Grace.
Yeah.
Andrew and Z's little baby Grace, my granddaughter,
Oh, no way.
who has a fever
Yeah.
for Christmas.
She'll be all right, Mayor.
For Christmas,
She'll be fine.
reminds me of an incident with her father. I told her father that he went through that, and he had me to take care of him. Poor kid lived, thank God.
Well, you were very attentive, according to what you said. You were incredible.
Yeah, but I almost drowned him when I gave him the bath. I mean,
So comment below. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We like to do this every once in a while. We have a huge audience this evening.
Sure.
And so we want to know from the people. Just comment below. We'll put these up on the screen where you're tuning in from. City, state, maybe even country. So if you're outside the United States, let us know what country you're tuning in from. We'll put them on there and we'll show the mayor.
so here you go. What about this one? Hunter omitted from all White House logs. Now, that is a national security problem. This guy, at least for a long period of time, if not right up until today, was a partner of Chinese communists going in and out of the White House. Hanging around the place where Joe took his stolen classified material, for which he isn't being indicted, but Trump is being forced to go to trial during an election year. But Biden isn't being indicted, and what he did is far worse. Because Trump has those documents under the Presidential Records Act. Trump had an absolute right to take them. The question is, was he negotiating in good faith with the archivist, who hates him, by the way? The archivist has put out all kinds of things and has covered up everything for Biden. But in any event, there's another statute, presidential, that has no criminal penalties. But Wildman, Hitman Smith, who, was reversed on ethical grounds 9-0 by the Supreme Court, he makes up a crime. You read the Presidential Record Act, Congress didn't provide a penalty. But I mean, that doesn't matter. The Gestapo, goes ahead and figures one out.
That's right, Mayor. And just to give you an idea of where your audience is tuning in from, we'll just name off a few places. Charlotte, North Carolina, tuning in. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Los Angeles, California. Greenville, Texas. Australia. Big Fork, Montana, USA. So he put his city, state, and country. Montana Galt is tuning in from Big Fork, Montana,
What a name.
USA. Chicago, Illinois, they put in parentheses yuck.
What does that mean? For me or?
For being in Chicago, Illinois. I happen to think Chicago's is a nice city. I know the mayor has his thoughts.
I think it's
Second
really
city.
Unfortunately, you have to walk around with
A
armor,
vest. Yeah.
a bulletproof vest and a helmet.
Hello from Iowa,
Particularly if
Southern
you're a
Arizona.
child.
Oh, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, where I'm from. So you got a
Ah.
good Michigan audience. Thanks for tuning in. California, Cloverdale, California, Southwest Pennsylvania, Danville, Kentucky, Greg Abbott's state. So, of course, that's Texas. Just wanted to list a few off for you, Mayor.
That's the
We
state.
have a very lively
that's the
audience
state that
tonight.
could eliminate. That could eliminate of Biden from the ballot. Well, we should eliminate him from the ballot in states that he can win.
All red states should get together and take Biden off the ballot. And that's because that's what it seems
Well,
like.
that'd be a
with
Talk
very
about-
fair election. That'd be very
Yeah.
fair.
No.
I mean,
That'd be very fair.
All of a
election.
sudden,
Mayor, Colorado took Trump off the ballot. New York's talking about it.
California's talking
about it. All these blue states want to get Trump off the ballot, so we should do the same and take Biden off the ballot.
But what does it matter if they take him off in places that he's not going to win, and we take him off in places he's not going to win? I want to see him come off the ballot. Well, Colorado is a state we can win.
That's what I'm saying. So get Biden
Who
off.
knows?
well, people, Colorado, you really think it's on the map? Maybe now with this decision. Otherwise, I really don't know, Mayor.
Well, we can't predict. I mean, He got more votes in 20 than he did in 16 in Colorado.
Oh wow. Do you think people and comment if you're in Colorado or from there, are they moving there? Conservatives from California?
There was a period of time during that
Texas.
night, that strange night, where Colorado was somewhat in the ballpark. I mean, he wasn't that far out in Colorado.
Yeah.
Bongino
So
was
question,
going-
maybe people are going to Colorado, conservatives from California.
Negative.
Bongino was going berserk about it this morning. I happened to
What did he say?
About
He's saying
Colorado?
that we should, the red states should
Take Biden off.
Yeah, they said that we should fight like animals the way they do.
Part of me thinks that we believe in America and democracy,
I know.
and so we would rather
But
we're not the ones that yeah.
Goodness or something
I mean,
like
when Biden's convicted of a crime, then whatever they got, whatever the Constitution says. However, we for everything we've asked for, we're not calling for Biden to be removed from the ballot.
And Trump didn't prosecute Hillary.
And Trump didn't go after Hillary. He had every right to. He should.
I thought he should have.
Well,
thought he
yeah, but
should
you
have,
also weighed the country and the good. What at the time we thought would have been the right thing to do.
No, I thought on balance. I mean, it's a decision you can make either way. On balance, it would have been very, very divisive, right? On the other hand, there are times in which justice has to be served, whether it's divisive or not. She committed a very serious crime at a very high level of government. And I keep thinking, had she been prosecuted for that, a lot of the other things that happened thereafter might not have happened. I also think if Comey were prosecuted for perjury, which he clearly did on the Pfizer application, they wouldn't have covered up the hard drive. They'd have been afraid. They've been afraid something would happen to them. But those 51 prostitutes who signed the letter that there were earmarks of Russian disinformation, they felt perfectly empowered to lie their backsides off, and nothing would ever happen to them, and nothing has happened to them. Nothing has happened to Biden, except you don't know it because nobody covered it, but I'm suing him. I'm suing him in the state. I'm suing Biden in the state of New Hampshire because it's a state that has statute of limitations. And number two, it's a state that allows me to collect damages in every state for his defamation of me, which was that I was a Russian pawn, which has definitively been proven to be untrue. And the FBI had figured out the actual source of that 9 months before Biden ever said it. And also Biden organized an entire plot with the 51 people so he could make this comment during the debate. They've got to organize things for him to make comments during the debate because he's too stupid to think of it on his own. But basically the things they organized for him, like everything else he said, are untrue, dishonest. And that allegation that I was a Russian pawn did a great deal of damage to me, both professionally and personally. Cost me a lot of clients, a lot of money, a lot of opportunities. People are afraid that, it's true. When something like that is said, there's this little thing that goes on, which is, oh, maybe there's some truth to that. Right? I mean, so these women have collected against me. I didn't get a chance to defend myself. I'll give him a chance to defend himself. I even cross-examine him myself if I have to.
Should we take, we got to fit in our balance of nature.
Please,
a minute. We'll go to the commercial while you prepare for your balance of
like a doctor.
nature.
Like a doctor. Wash my That's my Christmas tree.
You're back, Mayor.
Oh, sure.
It's only 30 seconds.
Fruits. veggies. Oops, I'm getting low here.
Don't forget balanceofnature.com. Promo code Rudy, 35% off. You want to be healthy.
Wow, 35%
Ted,
off?
35% off.
That's
even,
unheard of.
even I could afford that. A broke city employee.
Oh,
Can somebody in bankruptcy buy
no comment.
The city doesn't pay me enough, but I can afford Balance of Nature for 35%
But that's
off.
not, I mean,
Yeah.
and that's
Maybe
a deal you
somebody-
get for watching this show.
Maybe
That's right.
somebody should buy
You
it
only,
for me
I mean,
and
if
send
you
it-
weren't watching the show,
maybe
you wouldn't even
should
know
buy
about
this
it.
for me and send it to me.
Unless you watch Newsmax.
Even if you do, you still get your code Rudy discount.
Yeah, use code Rudy wherever you're.
How about send it to
finding
me as a Christmas present?
Yeah, the mayor's running low on Balance of Nature. Please send him some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just get your friend, somebody in your life.
It'd be very embarrassing if I can't buy it. I don't even know what the rule. I've got to, I
Rule
went
on
over
Balance
the-
of Nature. That's
Mayor,
health.
I'll buy you Balance of Nature for Christmas.
No, I don't want to seem like a beggar. I mean,
Get that. Take your Balance of Nature. Again, you're doing a favor. What a better gift than something that
if I
improves your
if
health.
I get excessive amounts, if all of you buy it for me and I have too much, I'll give it to the poor,
There you go. That's nice. Ted, why don't you show them the Christmas tree with the ornaments?
including me.
Show them that nice picture I just took. Look at that.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness! Let me say that again.
Look at that beautiful picture. And it's look at that beautiful picture, Mayor, of your tree. Look at that. Look at those ornaments. Are you kidding me?
All handmade by me.
Wow. You should
Maybe we'll raffle off those
You
ornaments.
should copyright them. You should sign them and we should raffle them off. That's what I think.
I mean, did I show you how to make this?
You showed them the other night, yes, Mayor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Check out
Would
episode
anyone
302.
would anyone want to see it again?
Sure.
Here, watch. It's very simple.
Now, don't forget, balanceofnature.com, promo code Rudy, 35% off. You're helping the show.
Simple.
You're helping the mayor.
You're helping them. Yeah, help the mayor, please.
That's right.
Also, here's a way you could help the mayor. This would be really nice, and you help yourself. You should subscribe. Now, how do people go about doing this, Ted?
Head over to
subscribe
X and punch that subscribe
on Twitter, on X, formerly known as Twitter. So, what do they have to do? Tell me what they have to do.
They just hit
Head
the
over to
subscribe button.
head on over and click on the mayor's profile at Rudy Giuliani. We'll put it up on the screen here. And click that subscribe button.
That's right.
And
Punch
you'll
it.
have access to what we're going to.
Well, first of all, you'll have access to the analysis I did yesterday of an illegal analysis I did of the case. Tomorrow, we're going to put on another one about Christmas. A few thoughts I have about why this Christmas is so important. That will be available for the weekend for everyone. And over Christmas, we'll put 3 or 4 very special messages on, maybe even a couple of geography lessons. So people get a sense of.
You know who needs a geography lesson, Mayor? Nikki Haley. You should give her one for Christmas.
Oh yeah,
She would like that very much.
Yeah, I can say I was going to get you something more expensive, but I'm in bankruptcy now. So,
Oh, yeah, you got an excuse. You don't have to. Yeah,
So
well, you have an excuse if you
I'll have
miss
to
out on
make.
anybody's present.
That's right.
You can tell them, hey, sorry, pal.
Nikki, I'll say to Nikki, it isn't the amount you spend; it's the spirit of the thing. And she'll say, like, oh, it is. She
Right.
looks like she's one of those people where it's the amount that you spend that's more important than the spirit of the thing.
Yeah, like the white elephant Christmas parties. They usually have a maximum price.
See?
She has a minimum. Those office. You know what a white elephant party is? You got it right? Am I saying it right?
I don't know.
The white elephant get the. You guys ever do that during Christmas where everybody brings
some woke shit.
everybody brings a present?
It's a Michigan thing, man.
Everybody brings a present,
Sounds
and you
liberal.
sit in a room, and everybody gets one present.
Sounds like some
I
liberal
mean, they
nonsense.
put white elephants.
Sounds
Yeah.
like socialism.
Or how about the dice game where you a bunch of little gifts,
Right
$5 to $10
after
gifts.
the show,
Anyway,
I will proceed to
Have a
put
show
these
if it is a
2
regional thing.
on there.
Yeah.
Oh, I only took 3. One more. There we go. Man, I feel better already. We are in official soccer time, and I want to make a point, and then I'm going to do this in more in greater depth on my special subscriber network
Mm.
for those who want, to kind of speak somewhat confidentially about it. But Christmas this year is very, very important because I believe, and there are going to be people that feel very controversial about this. I think will feel this is very controversial, but I've thought about this quite a bit, and I truly believe this. So I think I have an obligation to tell you. If I could boil all of this down, the horrible situation we're in right now, meaning before Biden, when Trump was president, we had a world that was relatively at peace, more peaceful than it was given to him by, he had to, finish the situation against the Taliban that the president trained by communists thought they were the JV, and he gave Biden a world at peace, and Biden now has a world in tremendous turmoil, people dying all over that don't have to die. We've got these tremendous battles over education, who's in charge, the parents or the state. Really, who's in charge of the child, the parent or the state? Is the child the property of the state, so that a minor child can decide with the state to mutilate himself or herself and not tell the parents? That is communism. That, make no bones about that. That is a major tenet of the communist philosophers and dictators. That goes on. That goes from Marx to Saul Alinsky to Mao to get control of the children. The children are the property of the state. Get them away from their parents, and here's where we get to Christmas. And get God the hell out. Get God out. Now, Marx, the person they follow, and all of the ignorant people from the Ivy League enormously affected by it, haven't bothered to read how Marx had a whole period of time when he believed in Satan, the devil, thought he himself was God at one point, and then another point thought he was Satan. So all these satanic practices coming up now have a lot to do with communism. In fact, you can take all the disparate events that are going on, and you can find them outlined by Marx, Engels, and others in the road to communism. And the biggest one of all is to get God out. We've become an amoral country. Look at what happened in the Congress with Biden's friend's aide, Cardin's aide, right? And I'm not commenting on the sexuality or anything like that. I'm commenting on the reaction to it, that he's the victim. He gets caught having homosexual sex in the Judiciary Committee room. And was he fired? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was
relieved.
fired.
What,
He
did
was,
they
he
get
was
off on
re-
desecration or something like
But tell me how he is the victim. I mean,
Oh, that's
I
the
mean,
thing,
I mean,
that's your
I mean,
default response.
anyone having, I mean, you're going to have sex in the Judiciary Committee room, and you get caught, something's going to happen to you, unless you're Bill Clinton. Then you can have it in the Oval Office or whatever. But Bill Clinton is really in the golden circle, where you can do Bill, Hillary, 34,000 emails, Joe Biden, take 20 million, 30 million from Red China. These people are in the real gold. This kid was just another Democrat. He wasn't like in the real golden circle. If he was in the real golden circle, they would have blamed what happened to him on the MAGA people.
How come we didn't hear about the guy who was actually having sex with him? Who was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Who's the other
no
party?
one even heard about it. I'm very confused.
But did he get fired too?
No one knows who it is.
Does he have security clearance?
I don't know. like
Maybe he's the guy who put the cocaine in the White House.
right. It wasn't Hunter Biden.
I was
that
just gonna
guy.
say maybe it was Hunter.
Not Hunter.
No, we know
Hunter-
we know
Hunter's
Hunter's
clean.
not gay. We know that already.
No, we don't. Oh, man.
Yeah, we know that plenty. Yeah. He likes.
If Hunter is gay, he does one hell of he
Cover
spends
up.
an awful lot of time covering up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
We know Hunter is not gay.
Wow.
Yeah, that goes without saying.
His photo album is filled with.
Anyway.
We also know that he likes M&Ms.
Did you just say evidence?
Yeah.
We both said it.
I don't know who the other. Maybe the other person was the victim. Maybe he took advantage of the other person, and they're protecting the person's identity. I don't know.
No one's talking about it.
Well, should the other? If the other person is a government employee, then I guess he should be identified and fired. But suppose the other person is just a private citizen that went there to have sex with him.
Right.
Should that person be identified? Now let's make it neutral. Let's make it you were caught having heterosexual sex there. Some guy, aide to Cardin, caught there with a young woman of age having heterosexual sex. What would happen?
Well, what are the laws governing that?
That's what I'm going to check right now.
Well,
you'd be fine.
yeah. It's not
It's
about
inappropriate-
gay
it's
sex
an
or straight
inappropriate
sex.
place.
That's not the question,
It's
right?
an inappropriate place to have sex.
Yeah,
I
and then
think.
I'm guessing they weren't supposed to be in there, and you're definitely. I'm sure there's rules against videotaping and posting
Yeah.
material,
Oh, but wait a second,
sexually
wait a- yeah,
explicit
they did more-
material.
They did more than just have sex there, right?
They posted it, yeah.
Yeah.
They're videotaping it.
Oh,
and
didn't
posting
they
it places.
expect they're going to get caught?
They're literally. I mean, the staffers previously on private messages. I don't know if they were private messages on his
They
Instagram
feel
stories.
so entitled. And,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You can go ahead
Zero
and not only
respect.
have sex in
And they have the gall to then on January 6, 2021 talk about how sacred this place is and respecting the
Yeah.
sanctity of the hill and these different meeting rooms.
When they're on camera.
Meanwhile, their staff, it's almost every time. But we won't generalize. Definitely in this case, you have a Democrat staffer and a media that refuses to cover it. Meanwhile, they had no problem talking about former Congressman Madison Cawthorn. Apparently, he had some. I don't want to describe. They came out with some stuff about. I don't even know what was true or not true.
right.
It was
right,
pictures of him and partying and
So the
whatever. It wasn't even at the Hill. It wasn't on Capitol Hill, right?
Capitol Police are probing a charge on them right now. They might charge the two
Or it's
men.
pornography. They're shooting
it's for
pornography,
Maybe they should
Passing-
spend their time on the murder of Ashley Babbitt
right? Meanwhile,
Well, they did that. They don't want to spend their time on that.
Oh.
Why would they do that?
because
would
Ashley
implicate
Babbitt's
themselves.
life is worthless to them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Duh. She's a MAGA person. Why?
She's a
They
MAGA
don't
person.
care.
She
They don't
des-
care about Ashley
She
Babbitt.
deserved to be killed in cold blood.
what questions
Correct.
you have for the mayor? Let us know in the chat.
That
and
one
we'll
gets
try
me
to
so
answer a couple
angry.
here.
Any other questions?
So let's see. What questions are we getting here? So, Mayor Will, who do you expect on this Epstein client list?
Oh, I'm not even going to speculate.
Don't even go there. Don't even go there. That's-
But I know
Someone's trying to get us in trouble.
I do believe
That's so funny.
the interesting thing is, will the golden circle be protected?
Oh, that's a good one right there.
What do
Mayor,
you-
we got
will the golden circle be protected?
No, that's a good one.
What do you think, boys and girls? Will the golden circle be
Protected.
protected?
Well, one of the women on the list has, through her lawyer, has asked the court not to release her name. And
Well, no,
her
but
reasoning-
we discussed
We
this
discussed
earlier.
that, yeah,
We don't know if this woman is a victim or
Right.
a participant.
Right.
So if she was a victim, of course you wouldn't release her name.
But
No.
wouldn't you mention that in your argument to the judge? I in fact was a victim of this heinous man. As
Isn't it
Doe
just-
107. Can I,
Go ahead, go ahead.
as Doe 107, that's how she's being identified in this list of about 170 names that are going to be released at the beginning of next year. As Doe 107 has previously stated, this is her lawyer speaking, she lives outside the United States in a culturally conservative country and lives in fear of her name being released.
But it
What
says
does that tell you?
associates and victims' names are going to be on the list. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But the women were basically victims. They were young
Right,
girls,
right.
right? I don't think they were taking
Well, this-
older women to be with young girls. I don't. Maybe they were. I don't know.
The list. People, if you're people are misconstruing.
Wasn't the pedophilia male?
Right. The whole list is not only associates; it's also victims as well. So that's why a lot of people don't want their names to be.
Well, so why should they put victims' names?
Well, that's what it says.
While Doe 107 wasn't listed among the more than 150 associates and victims of Epstein who will be named in the documents,
Why would they put out without permission the name of victims? That doesn't seem right.
exactly. So this individual, okay, so now this person is
But
claiming
now-
that she's
now
not
this-
even a
this-
part of this list. She's concerned about a future release.
This is the list from the woman that was involved with Prince Andrew,
Oh,
Jeffrey.
yeah,
Right?
Jeffrey. Yeah.
Elaine,
Is that her there?
Elaine, get what? I don't even know how to say her name. I still don't know how to say. And the
Jeff-
media covers her so little,
Jeffrey.
we don't even know.
Is that her there? Is that a picture of her there? No,
That's
go-
her.
no,
That's
no,
Elaine
no, that-
Maxwell.
That's
No,
he's
go
talking
down a
about
little. Keep going,
The
keep
blonde
going.
girl.
Keep
Oh,
going.
yeah,
keep
yeah,
going.
that's
Yeah,
Virginia.
it. Yeah.
Virginia
She's
Giffer.
great.
Now, how old was she at the time of the crimes?
Let's see.
She was a teenager, right? I guess. Because there are pictures of her with Prince Andrew.
So yeah, look.
Pictures that are, I wouldn't say they were incriminating. You know, they're not of sex. They're just pictures. I don't want to give the wrong impression.
So they concluded that some portions of the record should remain confidential, including those identifying people who were children when they were sexually abused by Epstein. So there are victims on that list. That's why people are having problems.
So if you're on the list, you were a child and abused.
Yeah.
But suppose you're even an adult and abused. Why should you be? I just don't think victims should be.
Judge Preska is considering.
She's a very good judge, by
She's
the way.
considering blocking some of the victims' names.
They're in good hands.
Yeah.
She is really an exceptionally good judge.
Yeah.
So that is
I think
interesting.
she's
This list of
I
170.
do think she's.
170.
I think she's a senior judge. I think
She's gotta
she's
be.
been on the bench for a while.
Yeah.
Loretta Preska, you know her?
I do. Yeah, I have a great respect for her.
2015. So this is interesting. So we'll keep up on that story. That's something
After the new year.
going into the new
I just
year.
think it's a scandal that this hasn't come out
yeah.
yet. They're definitely protecting somebody, and I don't think. I bet they don't pierce the golden.
Let's
circle.
not guess any names because none of us want to get sued for
but
defamation.
we're not gonna guess any names.
Yeah.
But I just don't think I'm gonna be ambiguous about the golden circle. I just don't think anybody in the golden circle is gonna get named. We'll see.
We'll see.
I bet the Times doesn't publish it if any of the golden circle people are there.
Well, conservative news outlets will, so we're not worried about that.
Well, another very eventful day, and of course, we love being here each and every night on America's Mayor Live. Tomorrow will be episode 305. We're wrapping up our 61st straight week, and we will have video of some of our. We're gonna have a contest tomorrow night, the Christmas lights. So you'll want to stick around and be with us tomorrow. Invite your whole family. We're gonna show off some of the great scenes of Christmas here in New York City, and we'll ask you to vote on some of your favorites, and that voting will take place over the weekend. So between Friday night and Christmas evening, we'll take a poll and see what you choose as your favorite Christmas lights here in New York City. Mayor,
Can I ask you guys what your favorites are?
yeah,
Your favorite Christmas scene in New York. So two of the three of you are New Yorkers. Ted is an alien, and no, he's from Michigan.
a legal,
He's a legal alien.
He's a legal
legal
alien.
alien.
He's a
If that's the
legal
thing,
That's right.
isn't
fully legal. He's even American. Oh my
Yeah.
God, he's American.
in New York
We have
City?
an American in New York.
Well, don't tell
Wow.
people that.
And he loves being an American. Wow.
So, okay, I'll go first then. My favorite.
Christmas sights.
I
Right now, you're
look,
allowed to change it. You're allowed to
okay,
change
if you're
it.
allowed to change it, I'm gonna say, and look, I know NBC owns it. 30 Rockefeller Center, that area between the Christmas tree and Saks Fifth Avenue. You know, it's probably one of the top choices people make with
I think
St.
that,
Patrick's Cathedral. I'm not counting that because
you
that
know,
obviously is.
you might consider that USA Christmas Central,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Mhm.
It's what you envision when you think of Christmas in America, right?
Yeah.
All the
yeah.
movies.
Radio
it's Fifth
City
Avenue.
Music
Yeah.
Hall
Yep.
also has particularly since it was in The Godfather, it gets special status.
I'd like to.
When Radio City Music Hall was in The Godfather,
I just watched The Godfather today.
who remembers what that scene was?
I remember, Mayor. It's when
hold on,
Michael
hold
and
on.
Kay
I
were.
don't remember.
They were walking.
I don't remember.
They were walking and they were getting gifts, and they were right on. I think they were on Fifth Avenue, and Michael passes by the newsstand, and he finds out his father was killed.
But who found out first? Kay.
Kay found out because she passed the
Kay-
newsstand,
Kay-
and she said,
Kay-
"Michael, come over
Kay
here."
sees the newsstand.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
That used to be the way we got news in those days with headlines.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the two newspapers, the Post and the
Right.
News, and then we had the Daily Mirror. They had such great headline writers.
And Michael didn't know he had to run to a phone booth and call Sonny at home to find out what happened to his father.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's right. See? I know, man.
Okay. even though I'm very poor, I'm going to get you a Christmas present.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Headless body in topless bar.
Yeah. That's a New York Post
Classic.
classic right there.
Headless
Every
body in topless bar.
That's
Yeah.
a classic New York Post headline.
That is good stuff.
Uh-huh.
I
Unfortunate for the individual who's.
I like the one, and it is in the
Body.
Daily News, but I like the one with the mobster with the cigar
Oh,
in
yeah.
his mouth
Galante,
because the
yeah.
cigar was placed there by the cops.
Carmine
The
Galante.
chin?
No, Galante.
Yeah, Carmine Galante.
Galante, yeah.
Do you know he was sentenced by the judge that I clerked for to many years in jail, and then he got out. And when he got out, man, they whacked him because
They
they were afraid of him. You got a picture of the cigar in the mouth?
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there he
We
is.
won't
Yeah,
show
yeah.
that.
That cigar was placed there by the photographer. I think the cigar had fallen out from. But think about it. I mean, you know, you get shot.
By a lot of your
Yeah.
body's
Boom,
rocking and
boom,
rolling.
the cigar goes flying.
Yeah, they
Okay.
shoved that
Well,
back in there.
Okay, creepo. Boom.
Yeah. My favorite lights in New York, Mayor, and I'm a little biased because I live in the neighborhood, the lights of Dyker Heights.
All right.
That's the best Christmas.
All right.
Although lately it's been a little it's kind of diet now because a lot of people moved out of like a lot of Italians moved, and but still people go on tour buses to come to Dyker Heights to see the lights. So that to me is very special because I grew up there.
Maybe we'll make our way out.
We
there
would
at
love
some
to have
point.
you, and then we'll go
Yeah,
to
then we'll-
Spumoni
And
Gardens.
we'll take. Oh, I love.
Yeah.
Andrew loves. Spumoni.
We'll go.
We'll bring
We'll all
Andrew.
go. We'll all go.
We'll bring Andrew loves Spumoni Garden.
Yeah.
We used to play golf at Dyker,
Yeah,
the
of
golf
course,
course.
of course.
and we'd always go to Spumoni Gardens afterwards.
Well, I know.
I'm going to say sorry.
No,
If it snows, if it's snowing, Central Park.
Ah,
if it snows, if it snows,
no,
it's
he's
almost
right.
like a song.
It's nice.
If it snows, Central Park,
is where we'll go.
where we'll go.
If it doesn't snow,
If it doesn't snow,
Secaucus, we stay.
we'll stay home.
In Secaucus.
With the horse
What?
drawn
Where do
things
people
and
go in
everything.
Secaucus for? Is it like a
Here.
central location? Oh, New York City. Yeah.
Absolutely. They're 2
Well, I
minutes.
recently went to a predominantly Italian Christmas party. I won't say where.
and I wasn't
And
invited.
all of the food, and they kept from telling me this. The food, they wanted to stress this point. Mayor, what does this mean? All of the food was from Arthur Avenue,
Yep.
and I must have heard that about
Arthur Avenue,
10
that's
times.
Bronx.
You don't know what Arthur Avenue is?
I'm curious. All I
Arthur
know is I went.
Avenue is really the present modern Little Italy.
Ah.
Little Italy is a tourist trap at this point. There are 14 Italians who are paid to live there, and that's it.
Downtown.
Yeah, and they're old, and they don't really live there. It's like a Potemkin village.
Okay.
They pay them, and they make them even look older. They're actually rather young, but they put on makeup, and they go, "Oh, I guess."
And they
And the restaurants are down to a meager few.
a couple pizza places.
Chinatown is taken over, and
You get rice with your pizza.
Now, up on Arthur Avenue, you still have, although it is becoming heavily Albanian.
I was just
as
going
well.
to say that. You took the words right out of my mouth there. Yep.
It's getting
Yes, you
heavily
did.
Albanian.
Which is okay.
It's fine. Well, all the Albanians bought the Italian restaurants, and they own the Italian
but
restaurants.
also, to be fair,
Yeah,
that's what they
Albanian
do.
cooking and Italian cooking, they're very, very. Look, Albania is just right across. Yeah, let's get the map out. Albania, I mean, you just
There's
take a boat right across.
many
from Bari.
Albanian immigrants in Italy. Many.
Yeah, and there are many
many.
Italians in Albania.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Yeah, get the map
absolutely.
out. Show them that Albania is just right across the Adriatic.
Yep.
And Arthur Ave, that's up way up
In the
town.
Bronx.
No,
Yeah.
where right? It's hard. It's where Harvard. It's where Fordham is,
Fordham.
Fordham
Yeah.
Road.
and the
Yeah.
Bronx Zoo,
Albania's right
That's
there.
where my
You missed it.
uncle
Yeah.
came from
Yeah.
Sicily. That's way-
and the Bronx Zoo is up there.
That's right.
It's a
Yeah.
good place,
He had a haircut,
and not far from the much better college, Manhattan College,
Mm-hmm.
which is over,
shop up in that area was 65 cents for a haircut.
which is really in a nicer area. It's over by Riverdale, which is quite beautiful. Okay, so there's Albania.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, right, you see Bari right across there? Bari, Italy. Brindisi. You see Brindisi?
Body.
What's the one right below it? I can't see it.
Lecce? L-E-C-C-E.
It's Lecce.
Lecce?
right across
We
the.
can zoom in.
Is that a bay?
That's,
So
no,
here's
that's the
Albania.
Adriatic Sea.
Yeah.
Adriatic Sea.
Yeah.
So here's Albania.
Albania. Well, a lot of Albanians in
Sometime we'll go through a map and I'll show you how many countries I've been in. You'd be
Greece is
shocked.
right there.
Albanians and
Moldova.
Italians also look very similar.
And
Nobody-
Greece
Yeah.
too.
Yep. Yep.
That whole region.
This is Albania.
Well, Sicily was dominated by many countries before it was Italian. It was dominated by Albania, Greece. So that's why a lot
I mean,
of
Sicily to me looks like a Greek island.
Right. So it was dominated by
Not
many,
that I've
many
ever been
countries
there. I'm not allowed to go there
Yeah. What?
because they'll kill him.
because of the mafia.
They'll murder him.
Yeah.
Sicily. Oh,
I
Sicily's
think
huge.
they may let me go now.
Sicily's large.
It's really getting kicked pretty hard by the boot, though. Look at that. Look at the kick. You think it'll be a field goal?
Hmm.
A boot.
You think they'll kick it over the Suez Canal?
Look at that.
Might land in Spain.
Well, Sicily is still predominantly Italian.
Of,
So
Look at that.
a lot of Spanish settlement in Italy too.
that's right.
My mother's family, 2 centuries back, Spanish.
Yeah.
When Naples, for a period of time, Naples and Sicily was controlled by the king of Spain, was a kingdom of Spain, and at that point, a lot of Spaniards came over.
They have the Spanish Quarter in Naples.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of that.
Similarities in the language. Even.
Very
of course,
similar.
it's
very
all,
similar.
both Latin.
Just different pronunciations.
Well, Spain's over here and
Yep.
Italy's over here.
But there is many Italians in Spain.
I wish I
Many.
could speak Italian. Can you-
Oh yeah.
Get out.
And Spanish.
You can speak.
My grandmother taught me fluent Italian and Spanish.
I want
Fluent.
to hear him speak Italian.
I speak it all the time with Luca. We got to get Luca here. We'll have a whole conversation.
I wanna hear
Yeah,
him.
man.
Luca Brazzi?
Yeah, Luca Brazzi.
He's with the fishes.
He's swimming with the
He's
fish.
with the fishes.
Me and my friend Luca, we run Lega. We run Lega in America. The man knows about Lega. Yeah, it's called the league in Italian. Yeah,
Great.
he knows.
Well, we'll be back tomorrow night. Tell them what we have planned for tomorrow night, so this way I'll start getting ready for it.
Tomorrow night, of course, we're gonna have a pre-Christmas special.
Mm.
Friday night, heading into the weekend, we're gonna set you up. We're gonna show a lot of video footage too of some of the better locations around the city where we've taken footage the last few
Couple of
weeks.
pictures of me as Santa.
Maybe we might have a special visit from Santa. I'm not sure if that'll be this week or next week, but you'll
We
want to
don't
stay
have much
tuned for
time.
that. And
mean,
it's we're gonna really focus here on the holiday season and Christmas, and we want to spend it all with you. We really appreciate everyone joining us. This is our
No,
first
I
full
have
year.
to tell all of you how much we appreciate your support, particularly at a time like this.
Yep.
Getting these very, very large audiences is very heartwarming. It really is, and it gives you confidence that you're getting your message across. Because what I really feel very, very strongly is that, well, I'll say it to you. If I died right now, I would feel really bad that I left this country worse than it was when I was born. I want to leave this country better than it was when I was born. And we were there. We were there just a few years ago. And whatever you think of Trump, we need him because he's the only one who's got the guts to make the changes that are necessary. And I know that. I know the pressure they put on you. It's unbelievable, the pressure they put on you. And it's unbelievable the price that you have to pay until you reflect on it. And then you feel sorry for yourself a little bit. And then you say to yourself, look at the price other people had to pay. Much higher, much worse. You look at the people, tunnels and towers people who have to have homes built because they've lost their arms and legs defending our freedom. Yeah. A couple of lawsuits for defending our freedom is hardly a big deal. So we're going to come through this because we're going to get together and we're going to make sure that we save our way of life, that we get it back. We take it back. Our freedom of speech, judges shouldn't be able to gag you. I should be able to say what I want to say and you evaluate it. You're intelligent enough to listen to me and decide whether you agree with me or you don't. And I'm intelligent enough to listen to you and decide whether I agree with you or not. We don't go to court and shut each other up. We go to the court of public opinion. That's what made us a free country and a great country. The minute you got the state starting to decide things like, oh, this is disinformation. Well, somebody's disinformation is another person's truth. It was disinformation that disinformation that the vaccine had side effects. You lost your job if you said it. They took down several of my podcasts because we said it. Turns out it's absolutely true. Now, I don't want to take people off the air who disagree with that and say Giuliani's wrong. It isn't absolutely true. Show me your statistics. I'll show you mine, and people can decide. The same thing with this case. You look at how do I have an opinion, strong one, but I have an opinion. You can look at the darn thing yourself and decide if they let you see it. And why are they covering up all the January 6th tape? Let people see it and make a decision. The parts that came out were shocking. The police holding the door for people. Holding the door as if they were doormen. And then you prosecute them. Something wrong with that. Well, we'll be back tomorrow. And we got a big year coming up, so we want to get ready for it. And please, I really ask you to go to Twitter, go to X, and sign up for a subscription. And we're going to do something special even tonight and tomorrow morning that we'll put on there for all the new people. And then we're going to set up a way of communicating because Twitter is going to expand that. So we'll have even better ways of communicating. And you're getting me your recommendations on how we can save America, because that's what it's for. And what is the fee? There's a fee there.
$10 a month.
Oh, can they get a price for like 3 months or a year or a discount?
Not at this moment, but just get on there. Just $10 a month. You'll get special content, and you're supporting everything.
We should
the
try to
mayor's
work
doing.
out like a.
Yeah, we'll talk to him. We'll try to talk to him this week and see what we can do for our great audience.
I think it's nice if they can get like a break, some kind of break. So if it's $10 a month and it was $100 for a year, you would save $20.
Yeah, we'll try to get something for our people.
I join programs like that. Well, now I have to get permission, I think. It's not that bad. I'll explain to you the rules of bankruptcy when I learn them, all right? Okay. But God bless you. And let's, once again, because the last couple of times we haven't, let's pray for the people of Israel. They're still being attacked. They are the victims, not Hamas. Hamas are the terrorists that are brought up as little children to kill Jewish people and Americans. And they do. And they also take little children and put them in front of them so that they get killed. I have no ambiguity about this. And you shouldn't. Ambiguity Something like this leads to the perpetuation of evil. So God bless you. Get ready for Christmas. Remember, beyond everything else, it's a religious holiday. It gives us a chance to remember the birth of the most important person who entered this universe and changed it, because God became man. Just think of how important that is and what that means about our civilization and the respect that we have for life when God becomes man, and why humanism emerges from Western civilization, from Judaism and Christianity. So God bless all of you, and we'll be back tomorrow. And